Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tilly and today I'm going to talk you through all of the books I've added to my collection during the month of January. I'm going to start off by talking you through all of the books I got in the Waterstones Boxing Day sales. It was a little bit weird how Waterstones did it this year, as they had most of the discounts on their website and then it was dependent on stores as to which ones they had discounted. So most of these I picked up online. The first one I've got to show you is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. It does feel like everyone is talking about this book and I've seen it in so many people's end of year wrap-ups. I have actually finished this, so this will be in my January wrap-up video, so you'll get to hear my thoughts then. I did listen to it as an audiobook rather than read it, but I'm still glad I've got the physical copy if I do want to give it a read as well. If you're not sure what this is, it's a memoir written by Jeanette McCurdy, who was famous through iCarly as well as the spin-off series Sam and Cat. I never watched Disney Channel growing up, but I'd heard so many great things about this book that I really wanted to give it a read. The next one on my list is a shorter book, which is She and Her Cats, and this is by Makoto Shinkai and Naruki Nagakawa. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm honest, this was a complete impulse buy because it was £5 in the sale, and I did think it was The Cat Who Saved book, which I'd seen so much in Lotti's channel and was really excited to read. So I didn't actually intend to pick up this one, but I'm still intrigued to see what this one is about. So the blurb of this one says, "We were in her apartment sitting side by side and gazing up at the sky. I felt her slim fingers touching my fur. 'Hey Chobi,' she said. 'What is it?' I said. She didn't say anything, but I knew what she was thinking. I felt the same way." I think this is just going to be a really cute read about what it's like to own a cat, a little similarly to Cat Gamer, which I also purchased and I will show you later in this haul. The next one I was so excited when I saw this in store, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I've been holding off reading this for the longest time because I really wanted to get my hands on the stunning Fairy Loot and Illumicrate editions, but when I saw this in the Waterstones sale and it was probably £8 or £9, I really couldn't resist picking this one up. I'm sure a lot of you know what Babel is about. I'm sure a lot of you have already read it. As I said, I'm really excited to give this one a read. The back of this book says, "Robin paused, too dazzled to follow. Of all the marvels of Oxford, Babel seemed the most impossible. A tower out of time, a vision from a dream. Those stained glass windows, that high imposing dome, an illumination in a medieval manuscript, a door to a fairyland. It seemed impossible that they should come here every day to study, that they had the right to enter at all. Yet here it stood, right in front of them, waiting. Anthony beckoned, beaming. Well, come on in." I don't know too much more about this, but I really want to try and avoid spoilers and go into this as blind as possible. The next one I was kind of umming and ahhing as to whether to get this book. It had won so many awards and the edition I've got here is absolutely stunning, and when I saw it had money off, I don't know if it was half price, but it definitely had money off and I just couldn't leave it behind, and that is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. As I said, this edition is stunning because look at how cool those edges are, and look at that naked hardcover and the end pages, and this copy is also signed, which is pretty cool. But yeah, again, I don't know too much about this book. I picked it up because it had won loads of awards and the pretty cover just meant I couldn't resist it. In case you're interested in what the plot is, I'll read you the synopsis. "Your ability to change everything, including yourself, starts here. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing. But it's the early 1960s and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute take a very unscientific view of equality, except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy, because as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Meet the unconventional, uncompromising Elizabeth Zott." That sounds fantastic. It just sounds like a feminist masterpiece and I really cannot wait to give this one a read. This is another one that I was kind of a little bit unsure about getting, and then I saw it in the sale and I just couldn't help myself and I thought I might as well just pick it up now, and that is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. If you didn't know, Casey McQuiston is the same author that wrote Red, White and Royal Blue, a book that I very much did enjoy. I haven't read any of her other books yet, but I'm really excited to give them a go, starting maybe with this one, and there might be another one that I've got in this haul as well. Also, these end pages are very cute. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but very cute. And the naked hardcover is just stunning. Look at that. Again, I don't actually know too much about this, so let's read the synopsis together. A month before graduating from Willow Willow Grove Christian Academy. The principal's perfect daughter, prom queen Shara Wheeler, kisses Chloe Green and vanishes. On a furious hunt for answers, Chloe discovers she's not the only one Shara kissed. There's also Smith, Shara's longtime sweetheart, and Rory, Shara's bad boy neighbour with a crush. Thrown into an unlikely alliance, Chloe, Smith and Rory follow Shara's trail of annoyingly cryptic clues, and Chloe starts to suspect that there might be more to this small town and to Shara than she thought. So kind of murder, thriller, sapphic vibes. Yeah, I'm here for this, and I think it sounds like a really interesting read. And then we've got two books I've wanted to get my hands on for the longest time but kept putting it off because they are a little bit pricey, but when they dropped into the sale I just could not resist. And that is Heartstopper Volume 2 and Heartstopper Volume 3. These are both the Waterstones exclusive covers. I love them so much, particularly this one. It's just so beautiful. I read the first Lore Olympus literally as soon as I got it. I whizzed through it. I loved it so much, so I really cannot wait to give these ones a read as well. And then the next three were definitely a treat yourself moment. I mean, to be fair, this whole haul is probably a treat yourself moment, but these in particular, they were very expensive before the Boxing Day sales, don't get me wrong. They're still kind of pricey. I can remember seeing these in my local Waterstones and thinking they're absolutely stunning. I just have to show you, they're beautiful. One sec. And they are the Penguin Classic Marvel collection. So this is Black Panther. It's got beautiful gold edges. That's the back. The end pages at the back. And then we've got the Captain America one. This is the front. Beautiful edges. The back. Again, it's got really cool end pages and end pages at the back. And then last but by no means least is Spider-Man, which is perhaps my favourite. So here's the front. Again, those beautiful gold foiling edges. The back, front end pages, back end pages. And yeah, if you didn't know this about me, I'm a massive Marvel fan. I love the MCU and I've really started recently getting into the comics. So I really can't wait to pour through these. And yeah, I'm just so excited to own these. And then I did get a couple of other books in the Boxing Day sales that weren't from Waterstones. So I saw this in WH Smith, which is kind of like a news agent that also sells books here in the UK. I'd wanted this for a little while because, as I said, I'm a massive Marvel fan, so my boyfriend Tim did kindly treat me to this one. And then this wasn't necessarily in the Boxing Day sales, but I did buy it in the same trip. I got this from The Work, which if you didn't know about and you live in the UK, it sells books at a really good price. So during that trip I picked up It Happens One Summer by Tessa Bailey, as I've heard so many great things about this series and Tessa Bailey's writing, so I'm really excited to give this one a go. It was also my birthday in January, so I thought I'd talk you through the books I received as gifts this year. So the very kind Mel from Chloe's Patreon sent me The Bride Test by Helen Huang. This is the second or third book in the Kiss Quotient series. I've not read the Kiss Quotient yet, but I'm really excited to give it a read, and now I've got the second one, so I have no excuse but to purchase it and read it. So I'm really excited, so thanks again, Mel. And then my boyfriend Tim knows I've been trying to grow my Tolkien shelf, which is just here. I didn't actually own any editions of Lord of the Rings. I can't find my copy of The Fellowship anywhere, so I'm definitely gonna have to repurchase those. But to start off the collection, he got me this absolutely stunning edition of Lord of the Rings. It is still in its cellophane, so hopefully it's not reflecting the camera too much. The reason being is I'm hoping to move this year and I don't want it to get damaged, so I'm just keeping it in the cellophane to protect it. But my favourite thing about this book is not only the stunning cover, but also look at those edges. They're just absolutely stunning. I just can't get over the fact that I own this absolutely stunning book, and I'm just so grateful. And then for my actual birthday, my boyfriend and I went to Bath, which if you don't know is a lovely historical city in the UK, which is filled with lots of lovely bookshops. I did actually post a couple of pictures from our time in Bath on my Instagram, which will always be linked down below if you're interested in checking that out. While we were in Waterstones, my boyfriend did kindly treat me to Weasels in the Attic. I know nothing about this book, but the cover was just so cute. So let's have a little look at the synopsis. Two friends meet across 3 dinners. In the back room of a pet shop, they snack on dried shrimps and discuss fish breeding. In a remote new home in the mountains, they look for a solution to a weasel infestation. During a dinner party in a blizzard, a mounting claustrophobia makes way for uneasy dreams. Their conversations often take them in surprising directions, but when one of the men becomes a father, more and more is left unsaid. With emotional acuity and a wry humour, Weasels in the Attic is an uncanny and striking reflection on fertility, masculinity and marriage in contemporary Japan. Yeah, I think that sounds really interesting, and it's a very very short books, it will definitely be a good read for a readathon. So while we're in Bath, I set myself a budget of what I could spend in the bookshops there. So we'll start with the books I picked up in Waterstones, starting with the one I already mentioned, Cat Gamer, which is my first manga. I'd seen this around the bookish community and it just looks so cute that I just really wanted to give it a read. Again, I have actually read this one, so this will be part of my January wrap. So if you're interested to hear my thoughts on it, my January wrap up will be coming. And then I mentioned in my 23 books in 2023, if you haven't watched that video, I'll leave a link for it down in the description. But in that video, I mentioned that I wanted to continue the Grishaverse by reading the Shadow and Bone series. So while I was in Waterstones, I picked up the 3 books in that series. So we've got Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. I don't know about you, but I always put off series if I don't own all of them, because then I know I'll have to go out and buy the end of the series. It's a bit weird, but now I know I have the completed series, it will incentivize me to read it so much more. Some of these books I've been umming and ahhing about for ages. Because I had a budget and it was my birthday, I treated myself to them. However, when I saw this next book, I knew immediately that I just had to have it. And that was the beautiful anniversary edition of Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I mean, look at that front cover. And then this is the back. And those end pages are also stunning. I've heard so many amazing things about this book. I've also heard that it's probably going to make me cry. So I'm trying to find the best time to give this one a go. So the blurb of this one says, "We were like gods at the dawning of the world, and our joy was so bright we could see nothing else but the other." Oh, it just sounds so whimsical and amazing, and I just cannot wait to read this. We also went into Toppings, which I absolutely love. It's this 3-floor bookshop in a really cool old building, and they sell a collection of books, but they also have tables where they'll be assigned first editions, including the next book I have to show you, and that is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Another one I've been umming and ahhing about, but I decided to treat myself and just finally get it. I did very nearly get the second book in this series, but I did hold off and think I'll give this one a read first, and then if I like, hopefully the second book will still be in Toppings, and then it will also be assigned first edition, fingers crossed. And then towards the end of my birthday trip, we stumbled across The Work. I didn't know there was a The Works in Bath, so I didn't plan it into our day, but when I saw it, I instantly ran in there and found so many books that I wanted. So I'm gonna whiz through these fairly quickly. So the first one I spotted was the second book in the Tessa Bailey series I've already mentioned, and that is Hook, Line and Sinker. I also spotted Get Alive, Chloe Brown. I've heard so many great things about this book, and I've heard it's got some really great disability rep in it, so I'm really excited to give this one a read. Like I said, I've wanted to read some more from Casey McQuiston after reading Red, White and Royal Blue, so when I saw One Stop, I couldn't resist but pick it up as well. And then just lastly from The Works, I picked up the final 2 books in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. So we've got Good Girl, Bad Blood and As Good as Dead. And then the next part of this haul is a couple of box sets I managed to pick up during the month of January, starting with the Percy Jackson box set. This is actually just a box, I'm not that strong. I've been reading these as part of Rose Patron Book Club and really enjoying them, and I didn't own the rest of the series, so I desperately needed to get my hands on these. And these editions are really cool. They line up to show New York City as well as lightning and the sea. If I can find a picture, I'll leave it on screen now for you guys. And then someone tweeted that the Throne of Glass hardbacks were on a really good deal, and I just couldn't resist. I do already own the Throne of Glass paperbacks, which you can probably see here, but as you can imagine from the name of my channel, Sarah J Maas is one of my favourite authors, so I do collect her books, and I've wanted the Throne of Glass hardbacks for such a long time, but they've just been so expensive that when I saw that they were reduced in price, I just couldn't resist myself. So I picked up the Assassin's Blade to show you. I mean, I'm sure probably a lot of you have seen these, and the rest of them are on my shelves, and I just really like them, and every time I see them, they make me happy. Okay, so we're almost there. So the final category is books that I bought either from Depop or Discord, so second-hand books. And this month I managed to pick up quite a few. So the first 4 I've got to show you are actually all from the same person. So the first one is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I'd been holding out from getting this one for a little while as I wanted to see if I could get my hands on the fairy loot. However, to be honest, this edition is still stunning, so I'm happy to just have the normal hardback. But yeah, this is the front spine, which is also really pretty, and the back. Again, I don't know too much about this one. I just loved the Japanese influences and how pretty it was. But let's read the synopsis together. Shiori Ama, the only princess of Kyoto, has a secret. Forbidden magic runs in her veins, and on the morning of her betrothal ceremony, Shiori loses control. At first, her mistake seems like a stroke of luck, forestalling the wedding she never wanted, but it also catches the attention of Raikama, her stepmother. A sorceress in her own right, Raikama banishes the young princess, turning her brothers into cranes, and warning Shiori that she must speak of it to no one. For every word that escapes her lips, one of her brothers will die. Penniless, voiceless and alone, Shiori searches for her brothers and uncovers a dark conspiracy to seize the throne. Only Shiori can set the kingdom to rights, but to do so she must place her trust in a paper bird, a mercurial dragon, and the very boy she fought so hard not to marry. And she must embrace the magic she's been taught all her life to contain, no matter what it costs. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty exciting, so I'm quite intrigued to give that one a go. And I think it's a duology, so I desperately need to get the other one in this series as well. Then we have Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Again, I wanted to see if I could get my hands on, I think it was the Illumicrate edition with the lovely edges, but to be honest, the normal hardback is just as pretty. So yeah, this is the normal front cover, spine, and back. And let's have a little look at the synopsis. Once upon a time, there was a horrible girl. Vanya Smith knows that no gift is freely given, not even a mother's love. The adopted goddaughter of death and fortune, Vanya has long made her own way in the world as the dutiful servant of Princess Gazelle, until a year ago when her otherworldly mothers demanded payment for their care, and Vanya decided to steal her future back by stealing Gazelle's life. With the help of an enchanted string of pearls, Vanya transformed into her former mistress and took her place, leaving the real Gazelle a penniless nobody. Now Vanya leads a lonely but lucrative double life as princess and jewel thief, charming the nobility while emptying their coffers to fund her great escape. Until one heist away from freedom, Vanya crosses the wrong god and is cursed to turn into jewels stone by stone. With a feral guardian half-god, Gazelle's sinister fiancé, and an over-eager junior detective on her tail, Vanya has just 2 weeks to pull off her biggest grift yet. All she risks is losing more than her freedom. She could lose her life. Yeah, no, that sounds very intriguing, and I also cannot wait to give that one a read. Then we have When Women Wear Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. Again, I have heard so much about this and I cannot wait to give this one a read. So in terms of the synopsis, Wisconsin, 1955. In a world where girls and women are taught to be quiet, the dragons inside them are about to be set free, and nothing will ever be the same again. When hundreds of thousands of ordinary women sprout wings, scales, and talons and take to the skies in a blaze of fire and fury, 8-year-old Alex Green is one of those left behind, and no one will talk about what happened. Best forgotten, everyone says. But Alex can't forget, nor does she want to. As Alex grows into a fiercely independent teenager, she must face the consequences of the mass dragoning, a society closing in on itself, a mother more protective than ever, and watching her beloved cousin Beatrice becoming dangerously obsessed with the forbidden. This timeless and magnetic novel from Newbery Medal winner Kelly Barnhill exposes a world that wants to keep girls and women small and examines what happens when they rise up. This sounds like a great feminist fantasy and I'm so here for it. Then we have another one that I've heard such great things about, and that is Iron Widow. Again, I don't know too much about this one other than people have absolutely loved it. You've been living a dream for long enough. Welcome to your nightmare. The boys of Huxley dream of celebrity status that comes with piloting chrysalises, giant transforming robots that battle the aliens beyond the Great Wall. Their female co-pilots are expected to serve as concubines and sacrifice their lives. When 18-year-old Zayat offers herself as a concubine pilot, her plan is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But on miraculously emerging from the cockpit unscathed after her first battle, she is declared an Iron Widow, the most feared pilot of all. Now that Zayatan has had a taste of power, she sets her sights on bigger things. The time has come to stop more girls from being sacrificed. Ooh. Yeah, that just sounds so intriguing. It also said that it's The Handmaiden's Tale meets Pacific Rim, so I'm very, very intrigued by that premise. This next one came all the way from America, and that's Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. You can never have too many witchy books, especially for spooky season, and the cover of this one is just absolutely stunning. The witch is back and ready for revenge with a little help from her friends in this fresh, sizzling rom-com by Lana Harper. Emma Harlow is a witch, but not a very powerful one, in part because she hasn't been home to the magic town of Thistlegrove in years. Her self-imposed exile has a lot to do with a complicated family history and a desire to forge her own way in the world, and only the very tiniest bit to do with Gareth Blackmore, heir to the most powerful magical family in town and casual breaker of hearts and destroyer of dreams. But when a spellcasting tournament for which her family serves as arbiters approaches, it turns out the pull of tradition, or the truly impressive parental guilt trip that comes with it, is strong enough to bring Emmy back. She's determined to do her familial duty, spend some time with her best friend Lyndon Thorne, and then get back to her real life in Chicago. On her first night home, Emmy runs into Talia Avramov, an all-round badass adept in the darker magical art, who is fresh off a bad breakup with Gareth Blackmore. Talia lets herself be charmed, only to discover that Gareth was also seeing Lyndon, unbeknownst to either of them, and now she and Lyndon want revenge. Only one question stands: is Emmy in? But why can't Emmy stop thinking about the terrifyingly competent, devastating gorgeous, wickedly charming Talia Avramov? So yeah, we've got witches, we've got tournaments, we've got a bit of sapphic romance from the sounds of it. I am so here for this, but I might save this one for spooky season, I'm not too sure. And then the final two books are from Depop, and they are both from the Wicked Fox series. So we've got the first book, which is Wicked Fox, and this is actually the fairy lit edition with the sprayed edges. And we also got the second book, which is Vicious Spirits, and I just love that cover, it's so stunning. I think this one follows a kitsune, which I'm actually really excited about. 18-year-old Gu Miyong has a secret. She's a gumiho, a nine-tailed fox who survives by consuming the energy of men, but she's also half human and has a soft spot for people, so she won't kill indiscriminately. With the help of a shaman, Ma Young only takes the lives of men who have committed terrible crime. Devouring their life force is a morbid kind of justice, or so she tells herself. That killing men no one would ever miss in bustling modern-day Seoul also helps Ma Young keep a low profile. She and her mother protect themselves by hiding in plain sight. That is until Ma Young crosses paths with a handsome boy her age as he's being attacked by a goblin in the woods. She breaks her mother's cardinal rule, revealing herself and her nine tails, to save Jaehoon from certain death. In the process, she loses her fox speed, her Gomiho soul. Without it, she will die. When Ma Young and Jaehoon next meet, there's no doubt they are drawn to each other, but their tenuous romance could be over before it even begins, as Ma Young's efforts to restore her fox speed by the next full moon ensnares them in a generations-old feud, forcing Ma Young to choose between her immortal life and Jaehoon's. And then on the front it says, her life is in his hands, his heart is in hers, 100 days to choose who lives. Yeah, that just sounds fantastic, and I cannot wait to read the series. So there you have it, all of the books I added to my collection during January. Did you get any books during January? Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to see more of my content. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.